Welcome to The Future Was Yesterday, a podcast where we talk about the future of work due to changes in technology, society, and communications in a time in which our real and digital lives intersect to create a new world. To talk about the changes this pivotal moment is bringing to our world, but specifically for those building sustainable businesses and exploring change in the future of work, I want to present my guest today, Chanda Coston. Chanda's journey has taken her from the military to the boardroom, but also into entrepreneurship and, of course, the biggest venture of all, becoming a parent. She specializes in helping entrepreneurs turn their dreams into thriving businesses with a clear plan, focused execution, and strategic support every step of the way, providing strategic clarity, focused execution, and supportive partnership. Welcome, Chanda, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Cesar, for having me. It's such a pleasure. I cannot wait to have this conversation. I think it is much needed. So thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I want to tell you again, thank you for your service. Your journey is impressive. It's an example for all of us, and I just want to say it. It's something more people should be doing. Thank you very
And
much.
likewise, again, thank you as well.
Thank you. And now I would like to start our conversation asking if you could talk a little about what is barriers to breakthrough and what is the work that you are doing at the moment.
Sure. So Barriers to Breakthrough is a free ebook that I offer for people to kind of, if you have an issue where you basically are stuck, you have time management issues, focus issues, productivity issues, you can't quite figure out why you can't execute. This book has a lot of time management strategies in it to kind of help you get out of that stuck place. If that is your issue, right? And so it breaks it down pretty easily for you. Lots of tools and techniques and strategies. I say it is a must have for most people, but especially entrepreneurs. The work that I do, whew, so I work with women, typically over 40, third quarter coach, right? That are looking to pivot into the business or entrepreneurial space. And they are at that place in their life where they're trying to figure out what's next for me. And it could be that they already have a business, they just want to refine it and go bigger, or they want to start a business and they don't know where to start. And they're trying to figure out how does that fit the season of their life and what does that look like without burning out, right? And without sacrificing what matters most, which are those moments with family at our age, or how to manage all of that over all the responsibilities that we have, right? So I know for me, I have 5 adult children, I have 4 grandchildren, I have 2 businesses, this business as well as a nonprofit, and I also have 2 aging parents, right? Not including my siblings and my animals and things like that. And so um, creating a business and a life that we deserve to have in order to enjoy the freedom that we have, I think is it's very key. And I basically show them how to do that.
And one thing that I want to ask you now is, or a couple of things maybe, or this question is having two parts. One is why or how you started working on this, how you
Mm-hmm.
did or how you make that jump or that crossing in your life, and what is the problem. I wouldn't say I wouldn't ask for the main problem, but what is a constant problem that you see people that it's starting a journey similar to yours. What is the problem that they often face that is a repeated problem that in that journey?
Well, there's a few. The number one problem I think I hear my clients say is that they're overwhelmed, right? In the information age, when there's so much information out there, it's constantly being thrown at them without any clear direction on what's applicable and what's not, and where to start with that. And so it's basically taking their ideas and helping them to get clear, to identify what makes most sense for their life, as well as how to move forward with that, and then helping them with a plan, right? So statistically speaking, 20% of what we do actually move our business forward. So 80% of that is noise. And so I help them get rid of that noise so that they're focusing only on that 20%. And then I hold them accountable to execute. The other issue I hear people say is I don't have enough time. Like, I don't have enough time. I want to do it, but I don't have time, right? And so, because I always tell them we're just clearly not going to get more time, it is understanding what are you doing with your time? Why don't you have enough time? And then how can we restructure your day so that you do have enough time to create the life of your dreams and to do the things that matter most? So that is done primarily through automations, delegations, and eliminating right things off your plate that you don't have to do or that are not necessary. It's just noise.
Yeah. So it sounds like the problem that you are trying to solve is help people to put their projects in order so they can work them as they should. No, it's from what I'm getting from your answer. And the thing that I would like to ask after then is when a person comes to looking for you, in which state they are normally are. They are just having an idea. They are already started maybe once and fail, or they are starting to grow, or in which stage of their entrepreneurial journey usually you are getting your clients from.
I get them in all different stages, and what I do is I put them in brackets. So I have a track A, a track B, and a track
Mm.
C. Track A is they're brand new, right? They haven't made but a certain amount of money in their business, or they're not really clear on what they want to do and how that's going to move forward. And so is first let's identify what is the problem you're going to solve, right? That becomes your business. And then what transformation are you going to provide or the service you're going to provide? And then what does that offer look like, right? How do you set your cost point to make sure that the offer meets the asking price, right? So that you can make money in your industry. And then the next track is, of course, going to be someone who's been in business, maybe making money, not making it consistently. And so we're going to look at their workflows, their operations, and those pieces to make sure that they have the infrastructure, right, to be consistent in their business, but also to prepare them to scale. And then you have the people who've been making consistent money in their business and they're trying to figure out how to go to that next level, right? And it's like, okay, what do I need to do? And so we're looking at, are we going to stick with the current offer suite? Are we going to pivot? Are we looking at our messaging? And you look at the messaging across the board, but you can't advise a client that's in the beginning stages the same way you would advise a client in the second or the third phase, right? And so it's really understanding the inner workings of the different businesses and what they're offering and how they position themselves in the market, as well as how they are marketing to their potential clients and making sure that those things are aligned. And so you can work with a person across the board, or at least I work with a person across the board. But it really depends. Once all of my clients fill out a discovery survey, and once they fill out that discovery survey, then we have a conversation to kind of see where they are mentally, personally, right? What's going on in their life. But we also look at their business and if that is established and what's going on there as well. And then we have conversations about how they're measuring and how they're executing and, are they tracking their numbers and, their profit and revenue and all those things. If there's no profit to track, then clearly we're not talking about that, but depending on where they are. So absolutely, we start there, but I get clients that are in all phases.
And I wanted to ask now if in your experience can tell besides the monetary reasons for going into the entrepreneurship or to have maybe start as a way of have an extra income or something, is there a component of uh, purpose in life, fulfillment, a vision,
Yeah, absolutely.
or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about my story because I've lived like 5 or 6 lives. Okay. I was in government contracting, so I pivoted from the military into corporate, and from corporate I pivoted into public servants. And then from public service, I went back to government contracting or corporate. And I decided I was going to do government contracting as an independent contractor, which means I work for myself as an entrepreneur. And in my mind, it made sense. It's like, I do this already. The government has lots of money. I'm going to take my portion. And as soon as I did that, not a month later, right? 1 month later, my brother was killed. And my new focus became running my nonprofit. And so I took all my extra energy, instead of building my consulting firm, I put it into building my nonprofit, right? Because my pain fueled my passion to serve people, because I didn't want anyone else to feel my pain. And in that process and over those years, I realized that I like teaching, which is interesting because as a consultant, you kind of teach, right? I'm advising my clients of what's best, industry practices as an expert. But it was different. I got to go out into the community and service people and work with people. And a part of that was teaching and mentoring. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I like this. And so I started to explore the coaching space, which I hadn't really done before. And I started taking different, programs. And some of my peers would say, hey, can you mentor me? Can you coach me? Like, how are you getting this stuff done? And I mean, it just makes sense to me, like project management, right? Lean Six Sigma, I'm a black belt, like streamline, get it done, focus. But then, I was like, well, I'm not really set up for that, but, I'll help you. I'll mentor you. Like, we could talk about it. And so I was like, well, wait a minute. How do I do this full time? Because I realized that I really like helping people get that aha moment, or I like helping people see things through or see things come to completion. And it was like, well, how do I do this full time? Right. And so when my children were grown, I decided to sell my house and move to North Carolina to support my mom, whose husband is terminally ill, and I didn't think she was going to take his passing very well. And so I rooted my life and moved to North Carolina, and it was a really hard transition because I was an empty nester. It was me and my dog for like a year and a half, okay? I say a year and a half because some of my grown kids came back for a season, but that's different conversation. But in that time alone, it gave me the courage to, I had to make the decision, first of all, if I was going to settle into this life that I wasn't really happy, working for the government, independent contractor, right? So I'm a nonprofit, but I was just the drowning work of day in, day out, a new mission, a new problem. But I didn't feel like it was serving anyone, or if I was going to take a moment and better me. And so I was like, well, the kids are grown. I'm here alone. Like, this seems like the best time to do it. And so that's what I did. I bet on me. And so I started doing it full time. Here we are. That was a lot, right? But
what a ride!
It was a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey.
That was a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to ask now if and you can answer if how you consider uh, better if it's not too personal. Uh, is there something that you bring from the military to the work that you are doing now? Some, I don't know, some lesson or attitude or rituals or something that had crossed with you to this new life?
I think so. I think the uniqueness of the military, besides the discipline and the structure, is that we're taught to get it done, right? And I think it lends itself to entrepreneurship because I understand as a business owner that if I don't work, I don't get paid, right? And so I can't come into it the lazy attitude, thinking somebody's going to do it for me. I've got to get it done. And so, yes, the discipline, it plays a huge role. The structure from the military, it does play a huge role. But I also think a part of the mindset that is created by serving, it also plays a huge role as we leave the military and transition into regular life, about how we structure our days and how we live our life and the decisions that we make. So, absolutely.
It's very interesting to see that most of the people that I have had the chance, the privilege to interview for this podcast, even though they are coming from different ways of life, uh, something in common for almost everyone that is becoming. I don't know if transcend is a correct word for this, but for people that had gone further in life, is the amount of experience that people like you have, and not only from education from the school, but life experience in different works, experience in different industries, with different kind of people, that this knowledge that is across disciplinary, or it's very enriching at the end of the day, no?
Yeah, I like to call it my toolbox. So I think when we go through life, we pick up tools, right? We pick up good experiences and we pick up bad experiences, and we take it and we learn from it. Like good things, of course, are their wins, but the challenges, I like to call them lessons learned, right? The things that teach us a lesson so that we don't make that mistake again, and we learn how to move differently. And so I think it all counts. I don't discount any of my experiences. I'm pretty transparent because I feel like something I've been through may help somebody else, and sometimes what we go through is not for us. So I don't have a problem talking about my past and even the bad parts. But when I look back as I have these conversations, so this part of my life, I'm sorry, this part of my life wasn't necessary in corporate. Like I didn't have to give anybody, the back story on me. They just saw my resume and was like, "You're hired," right? But in building a personal brand, it requires me to come out and kind of be naked in a sense, right? And show all my stuff. And I had to decide as an introvert if I was going to do that, because I understood that in me doing it, it may help somebody. It may encourage somebody. It may teach someone a lesson by them being able to leverage it so they don't go that way. Or maybe they'll go that way, right? And so it all counts. I went into the military to escape an abusive husband. I left the military to be a more present mom. And then I left corporate because I wanted to work for myself and build a big business. And losing my brother, it jolted me, but guess what? It also saved me, because I would have turned, I think, into a monster. Like, I'm very type A, very driven. I have no doubt in my mind I would have succeeded. And it's not lost on me at the very moment that I started my contracting company. I got enough work to secure my bills, but then my passion began to build out a nonprofit, and I did very well, right? But in that space, I realized that the consulting was not what I wanted. It was just like a pin in time to stop me to say, "Hey, you're supposed to be over here." And then that experience led me to where I am now, to where I feel like I am serving at my highest capacity with all of the tools in my tool belt, all my military experiences, all of my degrees, all of my certifications, all of my program and project management experience. You know what I'm saying? All of
Mhm.
it. It all counts. Um, and so it's all to my benefit for other women to understand at our age, all is not lost. Our story is not over. There is more, right? We have more to give. And let me show you what that looks like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think is absolutely necessary, and it all counts. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
No, no, it's beautiful, and it's the Spanish writer Arturo Pérez Reverte. He's having a saying that I found it wonderful. He said, uh, "We are like we are because we were like we were." So
Mm,
we are the result of everything that happened before. No, the good and the bad. It's what is
good
making
and the
us,
bad.
and it's up to us what to do with that. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I often quote a book by Smith was Wigglesworth. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And in the book, he just talks about we owe it to God, right, to honor Him with our lives by getting rich, because only when we reach the highest riches can we properly display all of the gifts that He's put inside of us. And so every day we should get up and do everything in our power to get closer to getting rich. And a lot of times I will um, tweak it a little bit and say, okay, I need to do everything in my power to get closer to my goals, right? Whether it's getting rich or whether it's being rich in time,
Hmm.
being rich in resources, being rich in love, being rich in, family and unity and community and all those things. And so I think like I take that to heart. It's like, don't waste a day because tomorrow's not promised. But I absolutely love that. might have to take that one too.
Thank you. And now talking a little bit about technology and going into the meaning of the podcast, that is talk about the future of work. Have you
Yeah.
seen in the maybe in the last 10 years, 5 years, anything that is changing, that the technology that is available today, maybe since social media is going to be like 20 years that we have social media, no? And like 30
Yeah.
years we have internet. But have you seen or have you noticed something that it's making it more easier or more difficult, especially for women to start their business, their entrepreneurial journey?
No, I actually think it's easy, right? I think if you are um, if you're about your business and you're diligent, right, then you can partner with it to make it more easy. And so when I talk about positioning yourself to scale, and I'm talking about the automations and I'm talking about the delegating, you can create automations within your business, but you can also delegate, right, AI in your business. And it's so that you don't have to put your hand on everything. Some of the mundane things that you typically would have to do or hire somebody for, you can create things so that it's now in place. So now you just become a person that reviews it instead of the person that does it, so that it frees you up, right? And so, but that comes from you being well versed in what it is that you do, an expert in your fields. Not only do you know how to um, create those, you know how to give instructions to the people that create those, but then you know what to expect on the other side. I think it's a really dangerous thing when people want to take it to, you shouldn't allow it to think for you, right?
Hmm.
I think you have to have a mind of your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it shouldn't be the creative. You should be the creator. But I definitely think it's okay to partner with it in order to leverage, right? So that you can recoup time, especially at our age, and so that you can scale, right? And so I think that's definitely necessary in today's time. I think the people who refuse will be the people that will find themselves not quite figuring it out. I know here in America, under the new administration, the government has been like devastated in a way. Like I know people who got laid off in the government, right? I know people who left voluntarily in the government as well. And so it's been a huge debacle, right? But I think the people who um, have a different, who have multiple streams of income, who are set up to be an entrepreneur. They understand their profession, their expertise, and they've come up with creative ways to make money outside of relying on someone else. I think will be the people that thrive and make the difference. And so I tell my mom, I even showed my mom how to use AI. I'm like, hey, mom, I need you to, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
feel like it's my responsibility to make sure that everyone is leaning forward that's around me, right? So I don't gatekeep. Not even my clients, I don't gatekeep because I think there's more than enough out here for all of us, right? And so I think that's like the huge difference. I think the people who are afraid of it are the people who haven't taken the time to learn and haven't taken the time to educate themselves, which is almost it's almost like ironic when this is the information age and so much
Yeah.
information is out there. So much free information is out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. And regarding that, even here, that things are a little bit different than in the United States. Our leaders, the presidents, prime ministers of the Scandinavian countries, are starting to talk very seriously about that the old model of go to school, find a job, work, and retire,
yeah,
it's over. It's
yeah,
the new model is going to be go to school, work, re-educate, work, create something, work, develop yourself, work a little bit more, and die. It's a constant pursuit of personal development and sources of income. It's
Yeah.
it's the actual future that they are starting to see, and that the tools that we have at hand now, like you just mentioned, no? It's our responsibility to learn
Yeah.
how to use it. We cannot start start giving this world to the younger generation just like that. No, we also have to do our part and start
Absolutely.
educating ourselves in all these new technologies, and learn how to do good and how to provide for our families and communities, etc. And now that we are talking about this, is there any transformation you would like to see in in your case in the US, that you would like to see in the coming 5 to 10 years about the job environment, the work environment, becoming maybe easier, faster, more agile, some new services? I don't know.
Would I love to see it? Absolutely. With all of the restructuring of everything, what I don't hear is restructuring of the education system. I think that's necessary. Gun violence prevention, which is near dear to my heart because of my brother's situation. I think that starts in the home, but also starts in the school system and it starts in the medical system. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's unfortunate that America is plagued by so many things that doesn't make sense for it to be such a developed nation, right? And so um, I think the true fix to most of it will be putting in controls in education and things like that that will change the generations to come. But we can't change it from the top. We're going to have to go back and change it from the bottom. Um, and so I believe strongly in restructuring all of those pieces. The job market is the job market. In the past, we were not competing with other nations as strongly as we are now because everybody's online and everybody's accessible. And so you don't know who you're going to come up against. And you're looking at, your courses and your classes and what you've been taught and your scoring and things like that. And then you're thrown into a job market and you're like, sink or swim, which is which is not ideal. But also, I think there's an onus to teach entrepreneurship, right? Because I think everyone should be an entrepreneur. Yes, I said it. um, because it's just not enough to rely on someone else to take care of you and your family, to provide benefits for you and your family based off a skill set that you think is valuable until it's not, right? And so you need to have more than one iron in the fire, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're okay and to decrease some of the issues that we do see as far as impoverished families and homelessness and food scarcity and all those things. I see it. I've been serving the community since 2018, and unfortunately, I see some of the same families every year who need coats and school supplies and Thanksgiving dinners and gifts for their children. And it's like, okay, where are we failing as a nation? Because it's okay to need some help one time, right? But when the same families need help every year for almost 10 years,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, how can we fix this? And what does that look like, right? And so it's dealing with those challenges from a root perspective and not a symptomology perspective that we can see change. So I know that was long. I'm sorry, but
No,
yeah,
it's perfect. It's perfect and resonate, because it's something that it's happening everywhere. And
yeah,
especially like you said, that when you work in some social projects, and you see the same faces coming back, maybe year after year, or every 2 years or something, it makes you think, what is happening here? What's the problem?
mm-hmm.
Because you know that there are good people working to help those people, and that there's money going into the projects, and it's not sticking at the end. No? Some is some work to do still to make it to make a
Yeah,
real difference. No? And now that we are almost at the end of the conversation, I would like to ask you almost the last question. What will be uh, Chanda's advice for the women, entrepreneurial women that are listening the podcast and that they are thinking into maybe start something because they are maybe want an extra source of income, or maybe they feel that they can give something else, something more, or like you said, they want the independence, the time to be with their family, with their kids. What
Yeah.
would be your advice to them? Practical advice.
Very practical is YOLO. You only live once. So let's get started. Let's go. Figure out what the thing is that you want to do. Don't overthink it, right? If your thing is baking cupcakes, then let's bake some cupcakes. If it's sewing up socks and knitting things, then let's do that. Also, if it's running high end meetings or being an engineer or creating things, let's do that too. So don't put off for tomorrow what we can do today. We only get one life to live, so live.
Thank you very much, Chand, especially because this podcast that it's called "The Future Was Yesterday." That's precisely the idea, no? If you want
Yeah.
something, you should have started yesterday. No, it's
Yeah.
the future is not going to wait for any of us. And the last question for you for today is, if if you could have the power to change things, as you were mentioning, and you started to talk a very important topic, that it's the education
Mm.
of kids, for preparing them for the life, and hopefully for entrepreneurship. What is something that you will do if you could have this power to change the education system, or the way how kids are educated now?
It's one thing I would do.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, I would probably start in like pre-K to kindergarten. Um, why there? Because the imagination is so broad and vast, right? And one of the things that companies pay us for now is what, innovation and creativity. And creativity is the thing that most businesses thrive on. Is how do I do this bigger, better, right? What is my unique value proposition? We make it sound all glamorous with the UVP, but really it goes back to being curious and exploring our creativity and our imagination. And so, if I had the power to reconstruct the education system, I would start incorporating business concepts and ideas at the pre-K to 5 year old level. Not anything that had to shake anything, but something to plant a seed, so that as they went out through the grades, then it would start to morph and change and form into something that could be great, right? And leaning into those things in those areas where the children thrive because they have a passion for it and they liked it, then they would naturally build upon it, right, and lean into it. And those are some of the things I think that we miss out on, unfortunately. So
when
yeah,
that change started, please call me. I would love to work with you and start sowing seeds to the new generation.
yeah, I think that would be amazing. My grandson is 7, and he loves building things already. And so I think he's going to be an amazing engineer. Every time we're on a plane, it's the oddest thing I've ever seen. He's been invited to the pilot's cockpit at least 6 to 8 times. Like every single time he's on a plane, he's so attracted to it. Like if there was ever such a thing of, I'm not one of those people that's big on manifestation, right? But it so attracts him. Every single time he steps on a plane, they invite him in, and I have pictures of him toying with don't touch that button, but they're explaining everything to him in the cockpit, and he's so enamored with putting things together and understanding outer space. and he's 7. So imagine if we take that just curiosity and we lean into it and we grow it over these years so that it becomes something amazing instead of like he's in a regular school system and they're like, oh, he's a little ahead. We don't have time to put all this energy into him because we have other children. And so a little bit of that leaves every time. He doesn't get to explore it. And so I lean into it, of course, because I'm grandma. So I'm always sending him stuff. But, imagine if all of our children had that opportunity, if they had this unique curiosity about something. And so we leaned into it and we explored it with them so that it could grow. Like, imagine the world we could create.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that really, if we want a wonderful world, we need to build it. We need to
Yeah.
dream that wonderful world and then work for it, build it.
I agree. Yeah.
Thank you, thank
That's
you,
what I would do.
thank you very much, Chanda. It's wonderful having you. It's great to talk with you and learn from you. You have a lot to teach and to teach us in more than one aspect of entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for your time, for your thoughts, and for your expertise. And I hope it's not going to be the last time that we have the chance to talk.
Of course. Thank you for having me so much. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you very much. And thanks to our couple of listeners. Remember, we learn from each other. I wish you agency and a wonderful day. And remember, the future was yesterday. Thank you.